Right, what's happening, everybody? Got an update. I got the headstock rough cut. You see the pencil line still there, so everything else will get sanded down to that pencil line. I got the fretboard taped on there temporarily. You see I left a little bit of a lip there so that I can run my router along this binding to fine-tune the width of the neck. I got the curve on the back of the neck roughly shaped. I'll flip it over in a second. But here is what's going to be the cutout that makes it look like an acoustic guitar. And I'll have to cut this maybe 3/4 of an inch deep, and then I'll have to contour it to the top. So the contour, the radius of the guitar hasn't changed, but I did have to shape the body because the wings were coming kind of uphill. So I had to leave those flat with the neck. So the body is flat out to right about here and right about here. But I softened that flat with with the sander. So the reason for that is so that the neck sits on something flat and doesn't rock. So this, the neck is flat here because the fretboard goes on that flat. It's not quite the shape that it needs to be yet. You can see I got to thin out it's a little heavy up here. It's like chesty up here. So I put my template on there because when I cut the wings, I overcut everything. So you can see I got about a 1/4 inch there and maybe 3/16 of an inch there. I had this part here was more straight. It kind of went like that, and it just didn't quite look right. So I lined my template up with it, and it just wound up being like 1/8 of an inch that I took out right here. And I'll tell you, man, that 1/8 of an inch made a huge difference in making this look, like it's supposed to look. So I'm guessing that little adjustment there and that little adjustment there is going to make it look more like, what it's supposed to look like. But those little 1/16 or 1/8 of an inch make a huge difference in how the finish shape looks. So I'll show you guys the back in just a second. So you see that lip there? My router is going to run along the binding on the fretboard, and it's going to come and end right about here where that pencil line is. If you look these up online, they have a binding on the front, a binding on the back, and where the body touches the neck, there's a piece of binding that goes there as well. So even though this is neck through, that's what this was all about. So if you see that line right there, what that means is I had enough length left on the neck through to push the whole body that way. The reason I did that was because it doesn't have great access to these upper frets. From this curve, it's going to be kind of a stretch to get to these upper frets up here. That's the last fret right there. And the fretboard runs over another fret width over there, but that's actually the last fret right there. I'll draw it on there so you can see it. So that's the last fret right there. So you can see the access is not that great right there. And even though it's not shaped yet, it still feels very chunky because the guitar is so fat right here in the center. So the detail that I was talking about earlier with the heel. So I just scribbled a pencil line on there. Hopefully it'll make more sense now. So the neck comes along. It's going to come along and it's going to curve down. And then this part back here of the body, that rounded bit, looks like the neck goes all the way to here. And it looks like this whole thing is one piece of neck with a heel that butts up to the body. Hopefully that makes more sense now that you know it's getting closer to its finished shape. But I got a lot of carving to do over in this area here to make it look better. Still got to work on this back here, the Brian May volute. That's probably not even a volute. Maybe it is, I don't know, but made some good progress. The electronics, I got the one knob here. I got that one. That's going to be the blend. I'll go over the rest of the electronics when we get closer to doing them. I'm not going to do the stuff that he's got going on with his electronics. I'm going to do something a little bit different, but you know, same look, which is really what I'm after. So that's all I got for today, guys. Peace.